Hey guys, welcome back. This is our set review for the color green. Just basically giving you my opinion on the cards that are coming up. Some mostly focused on what you should play or not play at the pre-release. I could be completely wrong on some of the cards, being that they're new. I've had experience with a lot of the cards, so keep that in mind when you're playing this weekend and you hear my voice in the background saying, don't play this, don't play that, and then you end up playing it and being completely freaking miserable. Okay, give me a sec, just gotta see what this says. Okay. Alright, here we go. So, acidic slime, play it, it's amazing. It kills a land, that's trouble. It kills an artifact, that's trouble. It kills an enchantment, that's trouble. And most of the time, it's going to take down a big dude. Arbor Elf is a fine 1/1, untaps a forest. If you want to excel into something really fast, go nuts with that. Bond Beetle, it's a 1/2 for 1. I don't know how great it is. I mean, it's good later on, but eh. I'm not too thrilled about that. Boundless Realms. Search your library for up to X basic land, where X is the number of lands you have. So basically, if you play this, you can get 7, let's say, lands about. Maybe if you have acceleration or whatever, you get a little sooner. I wouldn't be too happy to be playing that. Bountiful Harvest. Next, please. I don't really care. Um, I guess it combos well with Boundless Realms, but if they're really aggressive and you're not dead by turn 5, you can probably gain 5 life, but that sucks. Centaur Courser, you play it always. 3/3 for 3 is very well costed on your end. Deadly Recluse, take my word, play it always. It's a spider. It doesn't really attack well, but it takes down big things. And a lot of times people swing into it out of frustration because they want to clear the way for a better blocker. So it's basically like a removal spell. Duskdale Worm has Trample. If it didn't have Trample, it would be not as great, but the fact that it has Trample usually leads it to be playable and end out the top of your curve. Unless, of course, you have Elder Scale Worm, which basically beats the crap out of it. It is mythic, so you probably won't see it too much. Let's just go over what it does, because if not, I'm probably going to play it wrong at the pre-release. Whenever Elder Scale Worm enters the battlefield, if your life total is less than 7, your life total becomes 7. So if you live to turn 7 and you end up with less life because they're beating the crap out of you, you jump back up to 7. And as long as you have 7 or more life, damage that reduces your life total to less than 7 reduces it to 7 instead. So basically it says, hey, F you, dude, you're not killing me ever. Of course, if you remove the Elder Scale Worm, then you're looking good, but it's going to do some things regardless. Oh, and not to mention, it's a 7/7 trampler itself. Elvis, man, they should call it lucky number 7. Ha 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 ha. Alright, Elvis Archdruid, you always play it, especially if you have elves. If not, it still accelerates you, so you would play it. Elvish Visionary, you would play it because it draws you a card and then it usually blocks. And if you can get some attacks in with it, it's really good. And if not, it's just going to stand in the way and draw you a card. For Seek, I've played it, um, especially in decks where you're like 3 colors or you're splashing. Um, it's okay. It usually fixes it, but just remember, if you need 2 forests, you're never gonna get them from this card. But I've played it. It does its thing. It's not the greatest because it doesn't. It excels, but it doesn't ever get you that far. So keep that in mind. Flint Hoof Boar, like I said, I like all these guys. A 3/3 for 2 is even more aggressively costed as a 3/2 for 2. Excuse me, that regenerates. And hasting out of nowhere and swinging for 3 is very nice. Fog's a good trick. I try not to play with it, but if I need to, I will. Fungal Sprouting, I think, is going to be pretty stupid good. It makes a bunch of tokens, and tokens rock. Um, Especially if you have like a 7/7 worm and then you play this, you just have 7/1/1s. They're not going to be able to deal with that. Even if you have a 3/3 or a 4/4, it just gets better the higher the power. Garruk, I don't think you need my opinion on this. You should know how good this guy is in limited formats. Um, Anything named Garruk is always good. Like Garruk's pack leader is very good as well. Ground Seal, um, cantrips, so it's good. It shuts down artifacts. Excuse me. Shuts down graveyards. So I mean, if they're having cards like Call of the Grave or excuse me, Rise from the Grave, things of that nature, it's good against them. Plus, it's never really dead because it replaces itself. Uh, Moonvolley Beast Tracker, I'd like to play you know, definitely because it basically is a 2/1 and then it gets you probably a pretty good creature from your library because, a lot of the creatures that have Death Touch, Hexproof, Reach, or Trample are usually really good. Naturalize is usually a sideboard card unless they have something that you're aware of and you have to put it in the main. Plummet's always fine, usually also a sideboard card, but being that blue and white seem very playable, I would maybe main deck one, but most likely keep it in the side. There's going to be some things that fly also in black. So if they're not playing, actually, in second thought, you probably could play a Plummet main deck because black, red, white, and blue all have flyers. So the only deck you're not going to most likely kill anything is against green. So yeah, usually when 80% of the decks have things that you could kill, it might be worth it. Predatory Rampage doesn't give trample like overrun, so it's kind of like a fixed overrun, but it does still, you know, make them very sad because they're most likely going to lose their board and you're still going to have a bunch of guys and each creature your opponent controls blocks this turn if able. Ugh, yuck. So people are going to lose to that card just like Overrun. Prey Upon is a fine green trick, makes you fight, and deals damage, and that's pretty awesome. Primal Hunt Beast 3/3 Hexproof. I'm going to be playing that. Anything with hexproof is usually pretty good. The fact that it costs 4 is okay, but if you can get an equipment on it, especially the ring that gives 1/1 to green creatures and trample, they're screwed. Primordial Hydra, blah, blah, Hydra, just play it. It has a lot of heads. It just gets stupid, stupid big. Quirion Dryad, also good, not as good in limited. You can't really make it as broken as you can in standard. But yeah, even in a two-color deck, this little hottie grows out of control pretty fast. Rancor, also stupid good. I wish they made new art because I really like the old art, but it doesn't look right on the new card frame. Um, this is an aura. This is the best aura in the set. Maybe, I don't want to say the best in all of Magic ever, but it's probably top 10, maybe top 5 because of the fact that you play it, it dies, the creature dies, the aura dies, it gets countered, whatever. If it goes to the graveyard, you just put it back to your hand. Who doesn't like that? It's reusable. Plus it gives 2/0 and trample. Trample is the key word there. It's very, very stupid and good. Ranger's Path, I can see you playing this to excel into big fat things, but probably not in limited. Revive is always fine, but remember it always only gets back a green card. Uh, Roaring Primodox, 4/4 for 4. You probably can play this. It combos really well with things like the Beast Tracker here, and some of the other things that have come into play effects in white, like the 2/2 first strike guy that gives you a guy. Sentinel Spider, I actually like a lot. Vigilance and Reach for 4/4 for 5. Even though it costs 5, it still does a lot of good things. If they threw Death Touch on this, it would just make it that much better, but still swinging and then blocking flyers, it's very good. Serpent's Gift, yeah, I mean, you would play it if you need a combat trick. The fact that it gives death touch is completely fine. Silklash Spider is a bomb. Nothing that flies gets through this. except for the black dragon, the red dragon, that the hell thunder something or other. And this just kills things that fly. It just kills things. It kills many things that fly. Just make sure you don't have flyers and try to kill their flyers because it's each creature with flying, so you could hurt yourself. Spike Ballast 4/2 for 4 for trample. Yeah, I think I'd play that. Thragtusk. Yeah, I'd like to actually open a bunch of these because they're really good. 5/3 for 5 gains you 5 life. So that just makes you so far ahead on the life. And then when it dies, or leaves the battlefield. So you could blink it, you could return it to your hand. You put a 3/3 beast into play. So that's just very good, especially if you play this guy that we were just talking about, Roaring Primodox, and then you play another creature like this guy, and then you just keep bouncing it, getting 3/3s and gaining 5 life. I mean, you want to hit for 5 as well. Timberpack Wolf, I mean, if you have a lot of these, which you might because they're, um, you know, commons, they help each other out, kind of like a pack would do. Um, you know, it's okay. If anything else, it's a 2/2 bear, which is always fine. Titanic Growth is very fine, good trick. The fact that it's instant and +4/+4 is really totally cool with me. I think it's a fine trick. Vast Wood Gorger you will play. Always it's a 5/6 for 6. You wish it was a 6/6, but the fact that it's a 5/6 is completely fine. Yavin Nature's Herald is going to be stupid good as well. Flash, so you flash it in. You now have a 4/4. And then all your green creatures cards have flash, which just makes you able to play things on the end of their turn is just pretty broken. And then the Force Mage is going to be good as well, especially if you're playing like blue green flyers or, white cards that have flying. Buffing flyers is really nice, or things with evasion. All right, so that's my review on green. Um, I think you're going to be happy if you open green cards. I think it's very deep color. As you could see, basically, I crapped on about 3 green cards, in the whole review. So, green seems pretty strong. As always, thanks for watching. Up next is Multicolor Land and Artifact. Please subscribe if you haven't.